On Friday and Saturday, I was in Bellevue for the consecration of our new bishop, and I stayed in a motel there, downtown Bellevue. I don't really like to stay in motels. I would rather camp out in my tent in a campground. But there are no campgrounds in downtown Bellevue, so I stayed in a fancy new motel. I wanted to be with my clergy colleagues and be part of this, great celebration. But Bellevue, to me, it's a sterile place. Everything is new. There's nothing old there. It's all been built in the last few years, it seems like, and it's all concrete and glass and steel, just big towers going up into the sky. It's this paragon of prosperity. Everybody there looks like they've got $1 million. And there are all these tasteful little shops, selling Gucci and Louis Vuitton. It's very, very elegant. But I miss my home and Katie's garden, always nice to be home. In Bellevue, everything has been built in the style of minimalism. You know what minimalism is? It's a design style where it's very bare, very spare, very empty. There's not any extra stuff around. There's no ornament. There's no natural stuff. Everything is gray and brown, different shades of gray. It's all chrome and artificial fabrics and stainless steel. There's no humanity to it, it seems to me. It's just architects and interior designers showing off what money and technology can do. So I was never so glad as to get home. Our psalm today is Psalm 19, and it's just the opposite of what I experienced there in Bellevue. Psalm 19 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." The heavens, of course, mean skies, and the firmament is the earth. So it's saying the skies declare the glory of God, and the earth shows God's handiwork. We live here in Hood Canal for a reason. We love the outdoors here, the waters, the mountains, the forests, the rivers. It's just so beautiful when we drive down the road and we see the light coming off of the water and we see the beautiful forests. We love that. Psalm 19 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork." And it goes on to say, "One day tells its tale to another, and one night imparts knowledge to another." In other words, there's continuity. The world doesn't end when the sun goes down, but we know that the next day the sun is going to come up and there's going to be another day. Nature is dependable. We wake up and look out the window, it's a new day. Psalm goes on. "In the deep has he set a pavilion for the sun. It comes forth like a bridegroom out of his chamber. It rejoices like a champion to run its course. It goes forth from the uttermost edge of the heavens and runs about to the end of it again." What beautiful poetry. It was written probably 2,500 years ago, and it's just as fresh as it was written today. Can you see the bride and the groom waking up in the morning and seeing the whole world as fresh and new and their whole life in front of them? Do you see the Olympic runner bursting through the tape as they win the victory and exulting in the strength of their body? Do you see the sun rising in a chariot being pulled by flaming horses as it goes across the sky during the day? And that's just beautiful poetry. So the psalm is telling us that this earth, this beautiful globe that we live on, this blue dot that's sailing through the universe, is full of the glory of God. And the psalm says, although nature has no words or language, and its voice is not heard, its sound has gone out to all lands, and its message to the ends of the world. So nature is telling us about God. When we look at nature, we see God's hand at work. Its sound has gone out everywhere. How did the psalmist know that we would need to hear this today? Now, by contrast, I'd like to share with you a poem by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was a poet who was alive in the early 1800s when the Industrial Revolution was just beginning to gain momentum. And he could see the destruction and the dehumanization that was caused by the grinding wheels of the factories and the long line of laborers. And he reacted to that in his poetry. Here's the poem. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Of course, this is a sonnet, and it's got that rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A, soon, boon, powers and hours, moon and tune, hours and flowers. It's right out of your English class in 8th grade. But what Wordsworth is saying is that we've forgotten to listen to nature. It's nature that restores us and gives us life. He says the world is too much with us. And what he's talking about when he says the world is, he's talking about the world of machines and dripping oil and hours on the factory floor. The world is too much with us. He says, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little in nature we see that is ours. In other words, we've lost our connection to the natural world. He says, we've given our hearts away, a sordid boon. Now, boon is a gift or a benefit. And he's saying that our prosperity that we enjoy is a sordid boon. It's a tainted gift. It's a broken benefit. We've gained prosperity maybe through our industrial revolution and everything that came afterwards, but we've lost more than we've gained. As Jesus says in today's gospel lesson, what does it profit a person to gain the whole world if they've lost their own soul? So we visualize the poet striding along the beach in a gale and feeling the wind and the spray in their face and rejoicing and just being alive. But in the factories and in the owners' mansions, nobody notices. It's just another day of production. And outside, the flowers are waving in the wind, but nobody notices. Nature is full of life. But he says, we're out of tune. It moves us not. It's still true today. We're not in the industrial age anymore. We've moved on to the information age and the technology age. But it's still true that we've lost our connection with the natural world. We're facing one environmental crisis after another. The oceans are rising. Temperatures are becoming impossible to live in. There's unstoppable forest fires, hurricanes, species being lost. I mean, it goes on and on. And we have to ask, what are our grandchildren inheriting? We can't go on like this. Until we see the earth as God's creation, we're going to go on using it up like any other commodity. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. We need to listen to the earth. When we lived in Alaska, our bishop was the Right Reverend Stephen Charleston. And Bishop Charleston is a Choctaw, member of the Choctaw tribe in Oklahoma. He's retired, but he still lives a very spiritual life. He does a lot of praying and meditating and listening to the Spirit. Very spiritual man. And he often has visions, and he shares them on Facebook, on his posts on Facebook. So here's one of his recent writings about a vision he had. Last night they came again, the spirits of earth and sky, of wind and rain, of deep seas and tall mountains. In all shapes and sizes they came, from every tribe and nation. The deer and the elk, the bear and the wolf, broad-winged eagles and crows as black as night. They all came and stood in a solemn circle beneath the one-eyed moon and spoke with a single voice this message from the sacred. Do not doubt what you see. The world is warming, the waters are rising, and the winds are coming stronger than before. Do not turn away. Do not pretend not to see, but speak the truth and set the spirits free to heal the world before the ice is gone, before the last tiger falls, before only the desert remembers the ones who once walked this land. We have to remember that this earth belongs to God, not to us. The glory of God is all around us if we'll only open our eyes to see it. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork.